unforgettable. The Guadalupe River, so high and powerful, it bowled over trees, ripped them out of the ground, rammed houses off their foundations, and gripping them in its strong current. The rush of the river, powerful and uncontrollable, could have flooded areas from the hill country all the way down to Victoria and the Gulf Coast. But fortunately, Canyon Lake Reservoir stood ready.
On July 5th, 4:30 a.m., I think it was around 35,000 cubic feet per second. So that was the big peak flow that we had coming in.
Canyon Lake Reservoir was able to catch the floodwaters. Take a look at this video posted on KSAT Connect on July 5th. It looks like you could almost walk across all of the debris. And this right here is where the debris flowed into Canyon Lake. We're near Cranes Mill Park on the far west side of the reservoir, and this is where the Guadalupe meets Canyon Lake.
It takes a day and a half for the water to travel down.
Marcus Shemak is the Operations Project Manager with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Fort Worth District. He says the lake's water management team was on their post monitoring the speed of the flood and weather and current river conditions downstream to activate emergency plans if needed. But that wasn't the case because Canyon Lake was at a historic low due to Texas's years-long drought.
We were more than 31 feet below the top of our conservation pool, so we had a lot of storage in our conservation pool.
Conservation pool basically just means
live from KSAT 12, the 6 o'clock news starts right now.
The ongoing government shutdown is impacting millions of Americans every day, including those who rely on federal aid for food. Why one local charity says it may not be able to help fill the gap.
Plus, it's the last thing that you want to see early in the morning. A fire right in your neighborhood. A look at the aftermath.
Plus, we're tracking a weak Texas cool front moving through. The latest forecast on your weekend coming up.
But first, as the government shutdown reaches its 17th day, we're learning that the impact could spread to more than 284,000 people in Bexar County alone.
This has to do with SNAP benefits. The State Health and Human Services Commission says if the federal government remains shut down, it will delay paying out benefits that people use to buy food by November 1st. Katrina Weber shows us why one local charity says that could be a recipe for disaster.
It's well past lunchtime, but the hunger persists. People turning to the San Antonio Food Bank to help feed their families.
We know for many, they live hand to mouth or paycheck to paycheck, and that includes federal workers.
President and CEO Eric Cooper says when the federal government went into shutdown mode earlier this month, the food bank put out the call, telling furloughed workers they can help them bridge the food gap.
Now that some federal workers have lost a portion of their paycheck, we're starting to see more.
Cooper expects as many as 57,000 of them soon could come his way. And now there's yet another concern cooking.
We're stressed, we're anxious.
In a letter a week ago, the U.S. Department of Agriculture warned states that funds are running low due to the government shutdown. It advised agencies such as Texas's Health and Human Services that if it doesn't end soon, they should delay November 1st payouts to people on the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. The program helps low-income families make ends meet. According to state figures, more than 3.5 million people in Texas rely on SNAP benefits. Of those, about 284,000 are in Bexar County.
We do not have the food to meet that need, and so we hope that this will come to a conclusion.
For now, Cooper says he's keeping a close watch on what's happening in Washington, hoping no one goes hungry here at home. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
A massive search for a woman missing in Terrell Hills has ended. She's the wife of former Texas Speaker of the House, Joe Strauss. 64-year-old Julie Strauss was found safe late this afternoon after being missing for nearly 20 hours. She was found a block and a half from the couple's home. Julie Strauss walked away from her home in the 200 block of Geneseo before 7 p.m. Thursday. First responders gathered at the property this morning, received instructions, and then spread out to look for her. The search was also done by helicopter. Terrell Hills police confirmed late this afternoon that Julie Strauss was found in the 500 block of Terrell Road. A Strauss family spokesperson told KSAT, quote, "She is home and safe. The family is very grateful to law enforcement and neighbors for their help and support," end quote.
Miscommunication right at the center of testimony today in the trial of 3 former San Antonio police officers who killed a woman. Eleazar Alejandro, Alfred Flores, and Nathaniel Villalobos shot and killed Melissa Perez back in 2023. And today on the stand, Officer Andrew Chernak testified. Just to be clear, he's not charged in this case. Chernak testified that he and other officers came up with a plan to detain Melissa Perez that night using less than lethal force. He also told jurors that as he was trying to get into Perez's apartment through a bedroom window, he heard gunshots.
Everything that we talked about was non-lethal. If we needed to, we could tase her from there. Whether it was to take her to jail or take her to a hospital or whatever, that was the plan.
What was your reaction when you first heard shots?
It surprised the heck out of me, to put it politely.
Officer Chernak also testified that Alfred Flores was the officer in charge that night in June of 2023. That's when police were called to Melissa Perez's apartment because she had cut a fire alarm. The police chief later said that Perez had been going through a mental health crisis at the time. Jurors in this case have to decide if the 3 former officers followed protocol the night of the incident. Now, testimony in this case continues on Monday, and we invite you to watch our live stream, which we share on our website, KSAT Plus, and our YouTube page. A Holy Cross coach booked into jail overnight on another charge of invading visual recording. So we're going to show you video of Armando Flores' arrest from last week.
So earlier this month, our KSAT Investigates team broke the news of the police investigation into a hidden camera in Flores' office. We got copies of the most recent court records that accuse Flores of secretly recording a coworker, deacons, and a student undressing. The footage also allegedly shows Flores having sex with a woman.
Records show that the day before his first arrest, Flores had texted a woman about what to say to police. He allegedly told her to say that she knew about the cameras and that she did not want to press charges. Investigators also found inappropriate texts between Flores, they say, and a student, but it's unclear if there are going to be charges from that.
So we asked the principal of Holy Cross about this latest arrest. In a statement, he said they are cooperating to identify all victims so they, quote, can support them with professional counseling, emotional support, and our prayers, end quote. Cleanup underway after an early morning fire on the northwest side. Take a look at that. This was the scene after 6 a.m. on Viendo Street near West Hildebrand Avenue. We know 2 people were outside when fire crews arrived. One person was taken to a hospital with burns on their legs. Crews say that the fire was under control in about 15 minutes. Investigators are working to figure out what started it.
All right, so time now is 6:05, and we do know that there are some traffic trouble spots out there, a little sticky out there, but the weather we're always hoping changes.
We always are hoping for a change, and really there is going to be a small change this weekend, but right now, at least throughout the next few hours, there's not going to be. It still feels like our actual temperature sitting in the upper 80s to even low 90s, 90 degrees in New Braunfels, 89 in San Antonio right now. Today, in fact, we did get to 90 degrees, which added the 14th day at or above 90 degree days in the month of October alone. Now this weekend we are tracking a little bit of a change up. We're tracking a weak cool front moving through Saturday night and into Sunday morning. And I use weak cool front especially because it is going to bring a small chance of rain, but when you look at both Saturday and Sunday, our temperatures really are only going to decrease by just a few degrees, maybe 5 degrees at most. But Sunday is also when we're going to notice that low humidity. It's definitely going to be feeling a lot cooler. It's going to be a beautiful day on Sunday, but Saturday, notice that 10% chance of rain. The good news, it is expected to be in the afternoon to the evening hours, but not everyone is going to see that rain, and even the rain people do see is going to be very small amounts at times. I'll break down a futurecast of what you need to know for the rain chances and that cool front coming up in just a bit.
Okay, you said that looks weak there, but traffic, yeah, not so weak. 410 at Blanco Road, which we're showing you right now. Actually, I think it looked a little bit slower about 5 minutes ago. Looks like traffic is flowing there along 410 at Blanco Road, but still, when you look at the access road right there to the left. Looks like it's a little bit heavier there with traffic. So just letting you know about that. Traffic slow moving at 410 at Blanco Road at this hour.
Damaged sidewalks are a common problem throughout San Antonio. A lot of people call the city to get their sidewalks fixed, and oftentimes they are lucky if they see any changes.
Most people, however, along the 400 block of Elmwood have lived there for more than 40 years, and they say that their sidewalks are only getting worse. Madeline Lambert went to the north side to get answers.
Every year we fight the city. They always tell us the same thing. Maybe next year, maybe next year.
This is what the streets of Elmwood Drive look like. It's on the north side between Blanco Road and San Pedro Avenue. We spoke with homeowners who have lived here for more than 40 years. They're frustrated it's not getting easier to walk on their sidewalks.
No, you've been telling me that for the last 15 years. I said, I can't even walk down the sidewalk. I walk my little dog, and I can't do it.
Even with the flashlight, I've tripped, right there. And knowing that it's there, I've tripped, I
see people on wheelchairs that go onto the street, and then that way they go all the way down the street because it's not flat and you can't walk on it.
Homeowners who live on this street say this part of Elmwood is the worst, and nearly 8 inches to step over.
But look, an elderly person comes, and they're going to fall, and they're going to end up breaking a leg or breaking a hip.
So I reached out to Public Works. In part, here's what they had to say. Quote, "We will take another look into the 400 block of Elmwood to see what can be done. According to City Code, sidewalk repair is the responsibility of adjacent property owners. The city's sidewalk rebate program provides assistance." End quote. 2 years ago, Public Works repaired the west side of Elmwood near Blanco Road. But residents on the eastern side, closer to San Pedro, are asking, when is it their turn?
I lived here for 52 years, and this has gotten worse. So, and I've tried time and time again to try and get it fixed, but nobody's done anything about it. They say they don't have the money.
We have over 200 requests right now that are unfunded for sidewalks, and the 400 block of Elmwood being one of them. Unfortunately, the decision making on that is generally based on where it's easiest to conduct and where it's closest to either schools or bus stops or other areas that's connecting.
District 1 Council member Dr. Sakar says she's pushing for the city to find equitable ways to distribute funding across each district. She says calling 311 is a start for residents to voice their concerns.
If you can get your entire street to go in and fill out a 311 request, we can continue to advocate for it during the annual process.
Madeline Lambert, KSAT 12 News.
So there's strength in numbers. Okay. We all know this. San Antonio always comes through. The More Than Pink Walk is tomorrow, and already this community has helped raise $266,000 for breast cancer research, which has well surpassed the goal that the Susan G. Komen Foundation set up. Tomorrow morning, more than 6,500 people will take over SeaWorld San Antonio. It's going to be a sea of pink. The Susan G. Komen Foundation organizes this event every year. It's going to be the first time, though, that we'll see it at SeaWorld San Antonio. This event helps raise awareness and also helps individuals battling breast cancer. I spoke with a woman who survived breast cancer and says that the walk is also about helping save lives.
We still have way too many women who are metastatic and who are dying of the disease, but Komen's doing everything in their power so that one day we can have a world where nobody has to die of breast cancer.
According to breastcancer.org, more than 300,000 U.S. women are expected to be diagnosed with breast cancer this year alone. And SeaWorld San Antonio, by the way, opens at 7 a.m. for the walk tomorrow. Opening ceremonies start at 8:30, and then the walk begins at 9. And my friends, I'm going to be emceeing the event, so hope to see you there. Much more to come on the news at 6, including Courtney Friedman, still following our major story this week. If you remember, she told us that DNA helped to solve a major local murder case on Wednesday. And then yesterday, she taught us more about the system that made that DNA match. Well, now she's showing us the database in action and how that DNA is processed. And that's an exclusive crime lab tour that's coming your way at 6:30.
Plus, local students are getting some hands-on experience while learning about the value of nutrition. We'll show you how after the break.
Are you ready? Early voting for the upcoming election kicks off this Monday, October 20th. And here on your screen, you can see a list of important election dates. You can also scan the QR code for all you need to know about the November 4th election. Bexar County voters will decide on 2 propositions, both of them related to the San Antonio Spurs' potential relocation to a downtown arena.
And in case you missed it, we aired a special takeover of our 6 p.m. newscast on Tuesday, focused all on that new Spurs arena idea. Who pays for it, the arguments for and against the plan, and what's happened in other cities when pro teams want new homes. You can watch that special on demand on KSAT.com and KSAT Plus.
A local charter school is teaching in a new way. It's actually using fruit, vegetables, and plants.
Yeah, students are getting their hands dirty. They're learning about what they eat and picking up some life skills along the way.
Our Rocky Garza visited the campus to see how farm-based learning is helping students grow in more ways than one.
For farm manager Renee Garcia, the future of kids' health is important.
A lot of our students don't know where their food comes from or what nutrition looks like.
That's why she's a passionate supporter of the farm at Idea Monterey Park. She says it's opened students' eyes to new foods they may never heard or tried before, adding it allows them to mix up their food palette. Kids are also given the chance to learn about the science of farming and how it plays into everyday life.
So they learn a lot of sciences here on the farm, which help them in the classroom. So they're getting like more real experiences with things that they read in books or learn online, but in hands.
Seniors Alex Contreras, Azul Monsibais, and Angel Martinez are among those living the farm lifestyle. The trio says they enrolled in a floral design class to learn more about the farming cycle and to get a certificate from the USDA, which they say allows them to secure scholarships and enhance their resume. Beyond the plants, vegetables, and fruits, students are also using their new farm skills in everyday life.
It feels good because you go, like you said, you go to families or friends or someone close to you and you tell them or like ask them if they're having trouble with plants or whatever, and you help them because they're teaching us something.
Also at home, I mean, my dad plants a lot of plants, like he has a lot of plants. So like I help him take care of them. I used to like just like not really care, but now that I'm in this class, like I really like enjoy it.
And students say being able to be on the farm to grow fruits and vegetables like this, it's what makes the experience fun because they're able to feed their fellow classmates healthy food. Rocky Garza, KSAT 12 News.
Awesome. I love that. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Knowing where your food comes from.
You know what those student farmers could use?
What?
Some rain. They could use some rain to help everything they're planting.
I mean, I was just distracted by that watermelon, especially. It looked amazing, especially on hot days like today and the future warm days we're going to see. Sadly, there's going to be a little bit of a change, but really not that cool temperatures that everyone wants or even that heavy rainfall we also need for the plants. Now, today was a warm day. We did get to about 91 degrees at the San Antonio airport, 70 degrees in the morning. And today is that 14th day where we've seen above average temperatures back to back in October and where we have seen temperatures in the 90s or above in the entire month of October. And tomorrow we're expected to add another day, but there is the thing. Although we're still expecting temperatures to be above average in the low 90s, 93 degrees expected to be our peak temperature with those mostly clear skies, we also have a little bit of rain chances. And where we do see the rain, we might see some temperatures a little on the cooler side, maybe in the upper 80s, maybe 90 degrees for some folks. But the reason we've been seeing these above average temperatures is all because of that heat high, that big blue H. Normally, it's responsible for giving us the temperatures in the triple digits once we get to the summer months, but it's October now, and we're still sitting with our air temperature 6 to 7, even 10 degrees above our average temperature. But what we're watching is that low pressure system to the north, bringing some heavy rainfall and some snow to even some portions of the high plains. But with that, it does have a weak cool front associated with it, and that's expected to move down to San Antonio tonight into tomorrow morning. Now, with that cool front, there is that chance for some rain, of course. Most cool fronts do produce some rain on the leading edge. But with this cool front, we're not expecting the cooler temperatures really behind it. We're still expecting a quick shower possible tomorrow afternoon, maybe into the evening hours. So about the 2 p.m. to even 10 or even midnight for some folks, getting into the early Saturday or early Sunday morning hours. But behind it, that front's already going to be gone on Sunday. and we start to see some of that drier air really start to feed in. And Sunday is going to be a beautiful day for most of us. But the rain chances with this front, yeah, there are some, and it's only a 10% chance. But it's really lacking that moisture and really lacking that potential for heavy rainfall in South Texas. Portions of the other portions of the country near St. Louis, where there is going to be more moisture towards the center of low pressure, they might receive a few more inches of rain. But this was the latest drought monitor that was issued on Thursday. We still need the rain, especially because portions just to the east of San Antonio along the I-10 and the I-35 corridor going up to Austin are now in that extreme drought category. Last week, they were only in severe, but not only that, portions of the hill country, they weren't even in that yellow color, which is considered to be abnormally dry. But now they are. So the drought conditions aren't getting any better for most of us. In fact, they're actually worsening. So we really need the rain. The farmers need the rain, and sadly, this weekend is the only chance of rain we're forecasting. And even then, it's only a 10% chance of rain, if that. Sunny skies do continue to persist on Sunday and Monday, starting to see a little bit of that cloud coverage return on Tuesday. A beautiful day on Sunday and Monday, despite having a little bit of the wind, but those lower humidity values plus the temperatures staying relatively moderate in the upper 60s and even the low 90s and upper 80s will still continue to be beautiful despite the cooler temperatures being wanted.
Okay.
All right, Shelby, thank you.
All right, now let's give us a preview for the road trip, the BGC road trip preview.
Yes, I mean, everyone knows the drill by now. On Fridays, at 6 o'clock, we preview our BGC road trip. And one of the quarterbacks featured on the road trip this week is Colin Rose of Tybee. He's coming off of a career performance. And the Spurs tonight have one final tune-up before the start of the 2025-26 NBA regular season after the break.
I honestly had no clue what had happened. At the end of the game, though, I came off and someone came up to me and they were like, do you know how many touchdowns you threw for? And I was like, no, sir, I'm not sure. And he was like, we threw for 8. And I was like, oh, really? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Colin Rose was too locked in to realize he made Tybee history last week in big board sports. All right, we have 2 stops on our Week 8 BGC road trip, starting at Antler Stadium, where Tybee plays host to McCullum. Now, both programs are neck and neck in District 13 5AD2. The Antlers will be facing a rested Cowboys team, who is 2-4 overall. 5-2 Tybee, on the other hand, is coming off of a 56-25 win over Veterans Memorial, where receiver turned quarterback Colin Rose threw a school record 8 touchdowns. Former Tybee legend Johnny Manziel has had 8 total touchdowns in a game for Tybee, but never 8 passing. Here's what Rose had to say about his historic performance.
At the end of the day, it's all thanks to these guys right here. Nothing happens without them. So really, honestly, it's a team record. I honestly had no clue what had happened. I didn't even know. I came at the end of the game, though, I came off and someone came up to me and they were like, do you know how many touchdowns you threw for? And I was like, no, sir, I'm not sure. And he was like, we threw for 8. And I was like, oh, really? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then Coach Neal called me and told me that I had broke the record, which was a really cool experience.
Extremely humble kid. You know, Colin is the All-American kid. He's the heart and soul of our football team. The intangible things about Colin is he's a better kid. He's a better locker room kid. He's better for our program. Our team is better because he is leading us. He is better for our community because he's a part of the community. He's leading the community. Colin is a special kid, and I'm very proud of him.
Now turning the page to tonight's matchup, a pretty cool storyline going in. First-year Tybee head coach Curtis Neal played for McCullum in high school, and because of that, the ties for Coach Neal run deep.
It's kind of a full circle moment, and I'm glad I'm getting this opportunity. My nephew plays quarterback for them, and looking forward to having some family here, and enjoying the experience of my old alma mater coming to town.
Every home game we have is one less for this senior group, and so I gotta make the most out of each game we get.
It's definitely going to be a great opportunity for us to go win. I mean, as I said, it is special. I mean, we only have 2 more home games guaranteed, and we want to make it 3. So that's the ultimate goal right there. I just want to give a show for our fans that came and bought a ticket and get a win.
All right, here's our road trip map. McCullum and Tybee kick off at 7. Then we'll be at Victoria West and Bernie. The Greyhounds are 5-1 and winners of 5 straight, while Victoria West is 6-1 and they just suffered their first loss to Alamo Heights. Our BGC game of the week, here it is. It'll feature the Fire and Armor Bowl between Southwest and Southwest Legacy. That game goes down at 7:30. Larry Ramirez will have all of the highlights live from Legacy Stadium on the Night B and our BGC stream, which is immediately after the 10 o'clock news. Well, Jeremy Sohan is officially out. De'Aaron Fox remains doubtful for the Spurs season opener against the Mavericks on Wednesday. But before that, San Antonio and Indiana meet again on the court tonight. A win would mean an undefeated preseason for the Silver and Black. But more importantly, tonight's exhibition is the Spurs' final tune-up before embarking on an 82-game season. Here's how they're approaching the matchup.
Be more consistent and grow on what we tried to implement at the start of camp. And it's the last time before the real thing. So continue to put together good possessions and stuff that we can build upon and grow from.
Just sharpen some things up offensively, keep understanding our defensive principles. I mean, it's our last game to really put everything all together. I mean, aside from practice, obviously, but yeah, so just trying to go out there and have a sharp game.
Okay, here's the matchup. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock. Spurs can go undefeated in preseason. That's a pretty good start, right?
Very good start.
Yeah.
We just want to see more of that.
Exactly.
Thank you, Mary. Still ahead here on the news at 6, a look at how DNA evidence is processed in the local crime lab. Next. Now to an exclusive look inside the Bexar County Crime Lab. That is the lab with access to the DNA database that led to the arrest of a murder suspect this week.
Back on Wednesday, we told you that investigators used a DNA match to arrest Samuel Charron for allegedly killing Stacy Dramiga. Well, yesterday, Courtney Friedman explained that what that database actually was.
And today, Courtney brings us into the room where data is entered into CODIS.
It's the Bexar County Crime Lab that processes DNA of possible criminals.
And this is the area where DNA is extracted, and this is where our samples are set up.
The lab's assistant director, Aaron Reed, gave us a tour of the whole place.
Copies of DNA are made, and then once that is complete, it then goes onto these instruments here.
So this is where you can gather the genetic profile?
Absolutely. So it's actually currently being run right now.
They then enter the samples into the CODIS system, the federal DNA database that can match samples and solve crimes. It's the system that was used to just break open Stacy Dramiga's murder case in Bexar County. The samples in the system meet a criteria.
Samples from the victims don't go into CODIS, right? So it's just from the purported perpetrator.
CODIS, of course, is just a computer program, but it's a powerful one. And this is the one computer in the lab where it's used.
Our analysts within the biology section would come in and then enter the profile in manually. Once it's uploaded locally, it also goes to the state, and the state then uploads it to the federal level.
Once in the system, that piece of DNA is constantly scanned to see if it hits a match with other people being entered into the program.
So in cases that do get solved because of DNA that you've entered into a system, what does that feel like?
It's a great feeling, right? And that has happened to me, I have had cases, like I said, from 1980s, to know that you've done something that's had real impact.
An impact to victims and families, not just in Bexar County, but potentially across the nation. Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
Still ahead here on the news at 6. If you were going to be out and about this weekend, there are going to be some road closures you will want to know about. We'll break it down for you after the break. As we head into the weekend, don't let road closures slow you down.
Try not to, at least, right? There are a few big ones that you need to know about on the northeast and northwest sides.
RJ Marquez is trying to help make sure that you're on time this weekend.
Well, if you're making weekend plans, we have got a lot of construction to tell you about that's going to be affecting a lot of traffic taking place in several parts of the city. Let's start right here at 1604 and 10 on the far northwest side of town. Just want to let you know that 1604 East Chase Hill, that's going to be the UTSA main campus area all the way to the interchange. That will be closed for construction, and that is taking place on Friday night, late Friday night around the 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock hour. Also being closed 1604 West Northwest Military to the intersection as well. This closure will also include both directions of 10, alternating main lane changes for all of our folks on the far northwest side of town. Now, hopefully this wraps up by Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, but again, stay with KSAT 12 to give you more updates on what's going on the northwest side of town. That's going to be affecting the Rim and the La Cantera area. The northeast side also going to be very busy. We have ongoing construction that will start also late Friday night, the 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock hour, and this one will for sure extend to early Monday morning, so right before rush hour traffic on Monday morning. I-35 South, the Forum Parkway, that will be closed basically to this one interchange, loop 1604 east and west, both directions right here. So you're basically going to have to exit before you get to the interchange. You could take parts of Evans Road, Lookout Road as well. Pat Booker Road is a potential option as well for all of our drivers on the far northeast side of town. We have both of these construction closures, these traffic closures, these articles on our website, ksat.com. Make sure you stay safe on the roads and have yourself a good weekend.
All right, look outside with live cam. I know we're still waiting on that fall feeling, but you know, it's the weekend, so I'm feeling optimistic. All things considered, not that bad.
Let's just be happy, Shelby.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some people that will get to be happy because there is a 10% chance of rain on Saturday. So there is some good news at least. But what we're watching is really starting to see that humidity decrease on Sunday, and that's because of what's causing the rain chances on Saturday. Also seeing some record-breaking heat possible Saturday, and really no cool or fall air is really in the forecast. But we'll talk about what you need to know for your weekend planner, plus what's causing the rain and what's causing the low humidity for Sunday, coming up after the break.
You know, we talked about all of the things going on this weekend, and here's another activity, the Hope for Hunt benefit concert. That's tomorrow in Bernie. We got a sneak peek at the venue. It's going to be at Pure Country Barbecue. This is where artists like Thompson Square, Nick Lawrence, the J.R. Herrera Band, and Camp Mystic survivor Skylar Darrington will take the stage. So get your phones ready just in case you want to help. There's a QR code.
The event will benefit two nonprofits helping out the Texas Hill Country after the July 4th floods, the Hunt Volunteer Fire Department and the Hunt Preservation Society.
We can use a few more volunteers. You know, those are the boots on the ground that makes things happen. So we could certainly use a few more volunteers. We're not going to be mad if there's too many people that show up.
So here's where your phone comes in. Scan the QR code on your screen for information about how to volunteer and how to get tickets.
The ticket prices have actually gone down. Each of them is $40. And by the way, kids 12 and under get in for free. Okay, so we have that going on tomorrow, and we have the breast cancer walk bright and early at SeaWorld San Antonio. So we want people to be prepared for that.
Yeah, it looks like, all things considered, nice weather out there for anything you're going to do outdoors, Shelby.
It definitely is going to be cooler tomorrow morning and even tomorrow evening. Starting to see that low humidity take effect for some. Throughout this evening, though, if you are going out and about, it's still going to be relatively warm for some people, still sitting in the 80s. 89 degrees right now as you're stepping out the door in San Antonio. Still seeing those mostly dry conditions. Not really tracking any rain chances today, but tomorrow, a different story for some folks. We're starting off the morning at or about 70 degrees for most of us, starting to see that cloud coverage really start to dissipate. But in the afternoon, yes, our temperatures are getting to about 93 degrees, but between 2 p.m. to really through about midnight tomorrow, that's when we're starting to see the rain chances. And that's all because of that weak cool front, like I showed you earlier, moving through portions of the United States and really moving through portions of Texas. Now behind that, really not tracking any cooler temperatures, but here's the fun statistic. On average, we normally see about 6 90-degree days in the entire month of October. The most 90-degree days we've ever had was 19 back in 1947. Here's how many we've had this year. We've had 14 days, including today, in the month of October alone, where we've gotten to 90 degrees or above. And we're going to continue to stick on the warmer trend as we head throughout this weekend and even into next week. 93 degrees expected to be your peak temperature tomorrow for most of us. 88 degrees as you get into areas of the Hill Country near Rock Springs. 96 in Cotulla. Because we still have that high pressure system sitting over most of the southeast with that low pressure system, starting to see some of that cool Canadian air dip into areas of the high plains. And as we even look at the futurecast temperatures for most of the country, still seeing those warmer temperatures in the south, but that cooler air is going to move quickly to the north and to the east over the Great Lakes in the northeast on Monday. Starting to see some of that cooler air try to make its way to San Antonio, but there is some hope. We do have another chance of some cooler air, but that's on Wednesday and Thursday, and that is going to seem like it's going to miss and just go straight to the east of us. So portions near, let's say, West Virginia or even North Carolina could see some cooler air, but we're going to see that high pressure system return over South Texas as we head and get closer to next weekend. We're still getting into the rest of the month of October, so we could try to see a few more chances of low pressure systems bringing in some cooler air to South Texas. But really, we're going to stick around to stay above average throughout the next 6 to 10 days and even the next 14 days. We're sticking to be above average for San Antonio all the way up to Oklahoma City, Little Rock, Texarkana, Albuquerque. But on days that we are still seeing our temperatures above average, especially throughout the weekend, we're also going to be drier. Now here's a look at the dew point temperature. As that cool front comes through, Sunday's going to be definitely, you'll be noticing that change. We're going to start to see a little bit of that humidity return on Monday and Tuesday, but on Sunday specifically, when we're seeing those drier conditions, there is a very small chance that you might see a quick brush fire start because we've had little to no rain. Everything's been able to dry out so quickly, and we're still on that pattern of the warm and dry weather with really no rain in sight, and it is allowing our conditions to get a little worse. So here's that extended day forecast. Like I mentioned, only tracking some rain on Saturday with the record-breaking heat, or near record-breaking heat, I should say. And over the next 7 days, still sticking around with the warmth in the 80s and the 90s, with only a little bit of that cloud coverage returning on Monday or on Tuesday, extended through next week. Still waking up in the 60s, so at least the mornings will still be feeling a little nice despite being so dry and despite seeing no rain chances, guys.
Thank you, Shelby. Here's a look at what is coming up tonight on ABC's Prime Time at 7 o'clock. It is Celebrity Wheel of Fortune at 8 o'clock. It's 2020. In tonight's episode, an ex-deputy who is serving a sentence for his role in the murder case of a South Carolina father is speaking out. And then after that, we've got the Night Beat with Stephanie Jimenez back here at 10 o'clock. Big Texas Comic-Con is back this weekend at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center. It is packed with celebrity appearances, insider panels like improv comedy, and immersive fan experiences that bring your favorite stories to life. You can meet celebrity guests like Anthony Starr, known for his role as Homelander on The Boys, Jason Isaacs from Harry Potter and the White Lotus, and Jamie Campbell Bower from Stranger Things and the Twilight Saga. For more information and a link to buy tickets, head to KSAT.com.
Now we're moving way ahead. In about a month and a half, runners will be pounding the pavement for the San Antonio Marathon.
And with the new race hosted by San Antonio Sports, there is a new route that goes with that. It goes through some scenic and historic neighborhoods, including the King William and Olmos Park areas.
Beautiful areas. Stephanie Cerna spoke with people who are excited about showing off their neighborhoods.
The inaugural San Antonio Marathon being done San Antonio style. The theme where every step tells a story. And that story is 26.2 miles across the city, starting first downtown and then into the King William neighborhood.
I understand that you're pretty excited about the San Antonio Marathon coming through King William.
Yes. I live in the neighborhood, love running through it, and I'm super excited that it's coming back through the neighborhood this year.
Kimberly Ovashon is an avid runner. She says she's looking forward to setting up a cheer station to support other runners.
And it's the coolest thing to see the fastest runners and to also see the very last runner.
Being able to showcase the neighborhood, it is something where there is significant pride and significant ownership. So having such a large crowd being able to run through and enjoy it, it's amazing.
And then a little bit over halfway through the race, about mile 15, runners will be getting into Olmos Park.
This is the first time that the San Antonio Marathon will be coming this way and right in front of your shop.
This is such a special little section of the neighborhood. We have such amazing small businesses and people that are on this stretch. So I'm excited to one, cheer on people, but then also have new people who haven't been to this part of the neighborhood before run by.
Katie Bestrichman is the owner at Rose Hip Market on Olmos Drive, which is on the route. So they'll be hosting a race party.
We want all the neighbors to come out, people to come camp out with us during the marathon, and we'll also be giving little samples of our pickle lemonade.
With the Taylor Swift album that came out, The Life of a Showgirl, we would have The Life of a Race Girl. So we'll have friendship bracelet station and posters, so you can make a poster to cheer on runners.
The marathon is on December 7th. Stephanie Cerna, KSAT 12 News.
So we have that to look forward to, but before that, I know what people are going to be doing this Sunday.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Yes, getting ready for the Cowboys.
Watching the Cowboys. Mary Rominger is in the newsroom with a look ahead at KSAT Sports Now, talking about the Cowboys and Now at 7 o'clock, Mary.
Yes, getting you ready for KSAT Sports Now, which will be streaming live on KSAT Plus at 7 o'clock. One of the topics we'll be talking about the return of CeeDee Lamb. You know, the Cowboys have had one of the most high-achieving offenses in the NFL, but they've been without their star receiver for the last 3 weeks, CeeDee Lamb. Well, that changes this week when they host the Commanders for a 3:25 kickoff tomorrow. We'll hear from Lamb himself on KSN, also preparing you for Texans Monday Night Football at Seattle. That is a late kickoff Monday night at 9 o'clock, so everything you need to know for that matchup. Also, the fourth-ranked Texas A&M Aggies, they see a big loss at running back. Le'Veon Moss suffers an injury, and he'll miss significant time, according to head coach Mike Elko. So who is their next running back option? We're talking about that. Also, you know what day it is. It's BGC Friday night. Lots of high school football on the docket for tonight. So previewing those matchups and much more. Be sure to tune in. We'll be right back.
If you're about to head out for some Friday night plans, we've been keeping an eye here. Loop 410 at Blanco. These westbound lanes have just been slow going over the last hour and are still pretty backed up. So something to keep in mind.
In addition to all the traffic that we expect this weekend. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us during the 6 o'clock hour. We'll see you right back here for the night beat. Have a great day.